Salaki, we had some technical difficulties. Audio was off. Let me know if y'all can hear it now. Put a one in the chat if you got some sound. Put one in the chat if you got some sound. All right, bet. All right, so let's run it back from the top. So we're gonna talk about the Native American and Edomite wars, America versus the Native Indians. The war that took place between America and the Native Americans was carnage. They had tons of battles, tons of treaties with America. That America broke all of these treaties. It had upwards of 150, I believe around 177 treaties with America, and America broke all of them. One of the battles, or one of the treaties that they had, or one of the battles that they had, rather, was Wounded Knee, which is up in South Dakota. After the murder of the Native Americans in South Dakota, they put their face in the side of a mountain as a sign of victory. And that's exactly what Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is a victory for the American and Indian wars. A victory that we celebrate in America ignorantly. All holidays are lies. Every holiday is a lie. The holiday of Thanksgiving is celebrating the death and destruction of our brothers. The death and destruction of the people that share the same history as us, share the same plight as us. We're going to start back over. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 49, verse 9, 49 and 19. So Genesis chapter 49, verse 19 is Israel giving prophecies on, so like Jacob giving prophecies on the children of Israel. So as he's speaking to the children of Israel, verse 49, he's telling like Simeon and Levi that they're going to have instruments of cruelty in their habitation. Now he's talking about the incident in Genesis 34, but he's also alluding to how they're going to be in the future. Now today, Simeon and Levi are together on the same island of Hispaniola. And they have instruments of cruelty in their habitation. They got voodoo and all types of things, whereas though it keeps them from being great. You know what I mean? Their twist on their religious twist keeps them from being with the Most High. You know what I mean? Today, our problem is Judites. You know what I'm saying? It says that Judah gonna be as a young lion, but rise as an old lion. As soon as us as black people, we get the chance to go against our oppressor or go against the trials and the tribulations and the problem that we see as black people, we never fight. We always just lay down and let the oppressor just, you know what I'm saying, just keep his foot on our neck. Other prophecies was that Zabalawan was going to be in the haven of ships, which is where Panama is today. You know what I'm saying? So Panama is in fact in the haven of ships, something that Israel prophesied in Genesis chapter 49, verse 19. So we're going to look at Gad. Gad is in Genesis 49 and 19, where Judah gives a prophecy on the children of Gad. Gad is the Native American Indians today. The Bible refers to us as the Israelites, and Gad is one of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is the Native American Indians. So as we read about Gad and how Israel's going to prophesy who Gad is going to be, the word Gad means troop. As I believe it was Rebecca was giving birth to Gad. I believe it was Rebecca. So like, don't quote me on that. But as the mother of Gad was giving birth, you know what I'm saying, Gad, the word Gad means a troop. So in Gad 49 and 19, it says a troop will overcome him, right? 49 and 19. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Now, Gad was overcome by the Native American Indians. By the United States Cavalry, which is the military of America. And when it was overcome, America compartmentalized them into reservations. And as time went on, they began to raid those reservations and invade those reservations. Like we said earlier, the Battle of Wounded Knee. Also, the Gold Coast. Not the Gold Coast. The Gold Rush in 1849 in California, in San Francisco. They went over there and slaughtered everybody that was over there. The Seminoles in Florida, the Trail of Tears, which was pioneered by Andrew Jackson, 7th president, which is on your $20 bill. You know what I mean? So many battles, so many conflicts between America and the Native Americans is what we celebrate next week on Thanksgiving. We celebrate how America was able to capitalize on the land that they tilled, on the skills that they taught them, on the bones of what they built for America. And then they carved their face into the side of a mountain to show exactly who they are. They named football teams after them, and just hubrisly, just with pride, speak about how they killed the Native Americans, and then we celebrate it on Thanksgiving. The turkey didn't come out of nowhere either. The turkey was it was like a carving that was on a Mayan pyramids or the Aztec pyramids. The turkey is symbolic as well. I believe it's called like a mullet dish or something like that. Also, this time of year was when Native Americans had their harvest for the end of the winter, end of the fall. So squash and potatoes and pumpkins and starchy fruits, things that you make stew and soup with. That's what we would grow during this time. When Native Americans would grow during this time, and their feast was bringing in the winter. So the prophecy that Israel gave to Gad was that the truth was going to overcome him, which actually happened. The Native Americans, which was called the truth, so like the Americans, this is the Native Americans and Americans is crazy. Let's just say the Edomites or the devil was called the U.S. Cavalry, which was the truth, and they did in fact overcome the Native Americans. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse. Deuteronomy 33 and 20. This is Moses's prophecy on the children of Gad. Moses said, and of Gad, he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion. And we know that Gad moved around. Wherever the food went, that's where Native Americans went. And they moved as packs. They moved in packs, and they had multiple wives. You feel what I'm saying? Gad kept the tradition. Gad kept the culture that they had from over there, and they brought it over here, right? And teareth the arm with the crown of the head, right? So it's like and teareth the arm with the crown of the head. Gad is known for scalping. You feel what I'm saying? Even to this day, Native Americans would scalping, right? He provided the first part for himself because there, in a portion of the lawgiver, was he seated, right? And he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel, which is heavy because when the split happened after Solomon, you had Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Now, we all was priests. Like the Lord said, was going to be a nation or a kingdom of priests. But Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the Levites were the chiefs or the priests. You know what I'm saying? In the northern tribes, Gad was instead of Levi. So Gad sat as the chiefs, or as the priests, as the seers. Gad was the people that Israel, the northern tribe, will go to, right? So that scripture again says, verse 21, he provided the first part for himself because there, in a portion of the lawgiver, was he seated. He was seated as someone like a lawyer. The word Levi means lawyer, or the word Levi translates to lawyer, which today you have lawyers spelled the same way, right? So Gad was the priest in Israel, in the northern kingdom, right? You had Israel, you had Judah, which was north and south, right? He provided the first part for himself because there, and the portion of the lawgiver was he seated, and he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord in his judgment with Israel. Now, when Gad got here, they kept the fringes. You feel what I'm saying? Like Gad was wearing them fringes. When they got here, he was rocking them fringes. So like, yeah. Gad was rocking them fringes. They had the fringes, they had the chiefs, they had the captains, they had everything that they had over there. Salakia. Even down to the high holy days. Now, when Cortez and them got here, they had Hebrew translators. And Salakia, half of the video from before, it was no sound. So I'm not sure what I said in this class or the last class that we started earlier. So I'm gonna just, you know what I mean, just reiterate what I may have said back then. But when the slave master got here, when the Edomite got here, they brought Hebrew translators with them because they knew who the Native Americans was. They knew exactly who they were. Christopher Columbus ain't come empty-handed. He knew who could translate what was being spoken over here. So like, you know what I mean? So we're gonna drop that. Let's get Psalms 50 and 21. Now, when they got here, they saw Native Americans. I mean, they told them how to fish. They told them how to eat, survive through the winter. They told him how to stay warm because it was cold. And he said, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna murder you. Thank you for teaching me how to survive. You're gonna die. And that's the spirit of our oppressor. You clothe them, you help them survive. You give them food to eat. You feel what I'm saying? You take care of them. And in turn, they murder you. You understand what I'm saying? It's so diabolical. That's the man that we live under. That's the man that we have to obey daily. The oppressor. And we're gonna talk about how what kind of spirit is on this oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Old spirit prophesied many, many moons ago. So we're gonna read David prophesying about our oppressor. He said, this is Psalms chapter 55, verse 20. He put forth his hands against such as a people that be at peace with him. Today, how do we say put hands on somebody or put hands against somebody? Is like he put hands on them, right? He put hands on people that be at peace with him. So now he came to America and he saw people that was at peace with him. But when he seen them, he treated them foul. He gave them smallpox, wiped them out. 18 million, 77 million Native Americans wiped out because of manifest destiny. You feel what I'm saying? He came to America and seen this great little piece of land and wanted to conquer all of it. You feel what I'm saying? Just how can you put this? Just the pride in them. Like, I'm gonna come to a land and I'm gonna kill everybody there. That's Thanksgiving. That's what we celebrate. We celebrate our oppressor coming over here, seeing our brothers and sisters and killing them, wiping them out, and then calling the land Delaware, which was Lenni Lenape, or Dakota, which was the Lakota people, Sioux City, which was where the Sioux were, the Mississippi, which was a Native American name. I believe Tennessee was one as well. All the names that we know are Native American names, Native American land. You know what I'm saying? Native American people that they wiped out. Don't tell me no sound again. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we celebrate on Thanksgiving. So when they ask me, they say, well, I'm celebrating. I'm Native American. You know what I'm saying? I stand with the people that Andrew Jackson wiped out in the Trail of Tears. I stand with the people that Abraham Lincoln decided to claim one day was the day of victory of all the days for the American and Indian Wars. All the victories that we had is going to be one day. We're going to call it Thanksgiving. I stand with those people. I'm Native American, so I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving. Matter of fact, I'm not eating turkey the whole week. I'm not eating turkey at all because I don't even want you to think I'm celebrating Thanksgiving. You understand what I'm saying? What they did was vile. What they did was disgusting. And to celebrate people that do something so wicked makes you just as wicked. Celebrating Thanksgiving is a spit in the face of Jesus Christ. You spitting in his face because the brothers and sisters that he had, that he wanted to protect, that he wanted to keep, you say, I'm gonna celebrate their death, their destruction, and their murder. You spit in the face of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or you spit in the face of the Most High and Christ when you celebrate Thanksgiving. It's disgusting, man. And as blacks and Hispanics, we taught by the devil that it's okay. It's okay. You grow up and it's just turkey. It's just chilling with the family, and it's macaroni and cheese and yams and that stinking cranberry sauce. You feel what I'm saying? It's innocent, but it's not. Why they don't teach about those battles? Why they don't teach about Wounded Knee? Or why they don't teach about the gold rush? Or or how they took Native Americans, they took them and put them into concentration camps and told them that they couldn't use their language. Native Americans don't even know their language today. It was stolen from them, man. It was stolen from them. And that's what we celebrate on Thanksgiving. So like he put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. He's broken his covenant. Once again, the oppressor had over 150 covenants with the Native Americans. I believe it's 177 covenants. And he broke all of them. He broke all of them. You understand what I'm saying? Salakia. And I believe it started around about in the 1600s, the 1650s, when they wanted to manifest destiny. And they started moving west, and they started sending Native Americans further west, which is why they sent them to Oklahoma and the Dakotas. And by the time they got to those lands and wanted them again, they just killed them. They just wiped them out. So he broken all his covenants. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna read 20 again. He put forth his hands against Slakia. He put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. When he came to America, he saw war. War was in his heart. War was in his eyes. That picture of Cortez that you see on that movie El Dorado, that was real. That was the spirit on Esau. They came from Spain to dominate. They came from Spain to conquer. They didn't come here to make no friends. They didn't come here to be cool with nobody. They came to America to say, we're going to find people and we're going to make them work for us until they die. They came here, filled the boat up with all the riches and all the people, and left, and came back to do it again and do it again and do it again. Then they moved here, and then they went to Africa and did it over there. And now we here today. Celebrating Thanksgiving is cruel. You know what I'm saying? There's so many wars that they had between Americans and the Natives. I can give you the dates. Hold on, let me give you the dates. All right, let me check my notes real quick. All right. So the declaration called the Native Americans merciless Indian savages, which is in 1776. That's the first thing they said about them. In 1787, right, Article 6 was a treaty with Native Americans in America, right? But this Constitution gave America supreme law of the land, right? Or they gave the Native Americans supreme law of the land, which they broke it with that covenant, right? Okay, these are the covenants. The second treaty was the U.S. versus Native, the Indian Appropriation Act. It legalized the theft of protected land, right? So they can steal the land now. They broke that treaty. The buffalo extermination, 1.5 million buffaloes killed. This was so they can move the Native Americans, right? These some loose notes. I should have went over these. It's a lot, yeah. Man, if y'all was in class, y'all would have these notes. So we're gonna scratch that. But for so many years. So from 1776 up until 1973, which is when this was another battle at Wounded Knee. So they sent FBI, U.S. Marshals, the National Guard, snipers, helicopters, machine guns, tanks, grenade launchers, tear gas, armored trucks with torrents, jets, and armed pilots, all to South Dakota for the Native Americans and armed personnel. This was in 1973. It's late in 1973, and 300 activists occupied Wounded Knee. So for so many years, man, we've been trying to, as Native Americans, we've been trying to give our oppressor the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Say that, Salak, you know what I'm saying? We can move past that. You know what I'm saying? We always try to forgive our oppressor because we have compassion. Just even as Black people, they shoot us dead in the streets and we forgive them. You know what I'm saying? We say, I forgive that white man. You know what I'm saying? He didn't know what he did. Dylan Storm coming to the church and shoot 9 people, and we forgive him for that. That's the spirit on us. So they tried to forgive the oppressor time and time again. And so many times they just spit in their face. You know what I mean? They just broke every treaty, and you know what I'm saying? They had war in their hearts. Let's get back to the scripture. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his hearts. His words were softer than oil when he made those treaties. Yet they were drawn swords when he broke those treaties. So he didn't come here to coexist. He didn't come here to mingle with the Native Americans. He came here to wipe them out. He came here to efface them. And that's what we got today. And that's what you celebrate when you celebrate Thanksgiving. All right. The buffalo slaughter is crazy. They killed 1.5 million buffaloes, which is why buffaloes is extinct today. Because, or not extinct, but almost extinct. Because they wiped them out. They knew Native Americans feasted on buffalo. So they figured if they kill all the buffaloes, that they would die off, which is so cruel. All right. Once again, they say Native Americans came from, they came across the Bering Strait, across the, through Alaska and got here. But if they did come that way, why aren't any Chinese customs in America? Why ain't it, religions of China in America? Why ain't no descendants of China, you know what I'm saying, or any, things that represent China in America? It's not, you know what I'm saying? The Native Americans, they kept the customs of the Hebrews, which is, why they got pyramids and why they spoke Hebrew, or they had fringes, you know what I'm saying? Why they rocked the feathers and all of that, why they kept the same customs, you know what I'm saying? Because they weren't Chinese, in fact, they were Native Americans. They was Israel. All right, so let's get Numbers chapter 15, verse 37. The spirit on the Native Americans is the spirit of Israel. Numbers 15, 37. All right. So once again, Native Americans, they had fringes. They wore fringes. Here's where they got it from. Because they said when, I could read it in this book right here. They said when they got, or maybe it's in the Star in the West, but they said when the oppressor came to America with the Bible, they said, that's our book. That's the book of our ancestors. They knew what they was doing. The Native Americans wasn't stupid. This is Numbers chapter 15, verse 37. And the Lord spake unto Israel, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations. So Native Americans knew exactly what they was doing with the fringes. You know what I'm saying? Today we'll see like a purse or some boots or, you know what I'm saying, or some pants or something like that with fringes on them. And it's supposed to be like indicative of Native Americans. Where do you think they got it from? When you see the Native American garments, them Native Americans dress just like us. Go to a powwow, even though powwows are watered down. Go to a powwow, you might see a couple Native Americans. They dress just like the Israelites. Garments, rings and chains and feathers and colors, you feel what I'm saying? They look just like us because they are us. Their customs are the same as ours. Gad is the Native American. Gad is who America slaughtered. And that's who they celebrate on Thanksgiving, the slaughter of the Gadites, or our brothers, the Native Americans, who are Israelites, right? Verse 37, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make fringes in the border of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon them, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue, and it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, that ye may not seek and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to do, and after which ye used to go a whoring, right? So before, when we Adam, you know what I'm saying, when they was in the garden, they was among other people, other trees, right? But then when the Lord came looking for them, they was hidden, they blended in, because we supposed to be a holy people. We supposed to be separate. We supposed to be different. So they see us with the fringes, they're like, oh, I like your pants, because it's different. You feel what I'm saying? Now, when we see them fringes, we remember us being separate, us being holy. We remember exactly who we are. We the Israelites. We different. We're not like them people over there. That's what the fringes is supposed to represent. Us keeping the law. Just like Adam and Eve, they were supposed to be different. Remember the scriptures? Let's get that real quick. It's a lot to be bouncing around, but I want y'all to get the point. If y'all got any questions, just put them in the chat. So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 25, right? It says, let's start at 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man, not the womb of the man. But she should be called woman because she was taken out of man. She was taken out of people that were the sons of men, people that was not of the Lord. She was taken out of man, right? Therefore shall a man leave his father and leave his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh, right? Verse 25, and they were both naked, the man and the wife, and were not ashamed. So they were both naked in the garden, right? And they was not ashamed. But later on, in Genesis chapter 3, verse 6, right? That was Genesis 2 and 25. So verse 3 and 6, let's start at verse 5, 3 and 5. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil, right? So you're going to be knowing what you shouldn't know, right? You're going to know the bad side of the Most High. You shouldn't know the bad side. Like, I got kids. I don't want my kids to know the bad side of me. Only way they know the bad side of me is if they bring it out of me, if they break what I tell them to do. You know what I'm saying? If I tell them to do something this way and they do it another way, then they see my bad side. They wasn't supposed to see that. They wasn't supposed to know the duality of their father. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't know what the Lord's curses look like. But here we are today, knowing what the curses look like. We got to deal with drug addiction. We got to deal with working every day. You know what I'm saying? We got to deal with daughters being whores, our sons being drug dealers, with the murder and the death and destruction that we got to live with outside in these streets. We got to live with TikTok and Facebook and how it wipes the minds out of our people. You spend all day on Facebook and TikTok, all day, wasting life on Facebook and TikTok. That's what we do today. We shouldn't know the curses of the Most High, but we live with them today because we was on his bad side, right? Let's get to it. Verse 6, and when woman saw that the tree was good for food, or the information or the people was good, right? And that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired. Let me put this closer. In my glass. And the tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat. Now she ate, like the scriptures say, eat the roll or eat this knowledge. You know what I'm saying? What she ate was the knowledge. What she took in was the knowledge of the other people, right? that it was pleased, Salaki, and it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be Salaki. Let me read from verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and did eat. Salaki, verse 7. And the eyes of them were both open, and they knew they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. Right? So, real quick, just to sum it up, verse 25 said they were both naked and not ashamed. Verse 7 says their eyes was open and that they knew they was naked, and they started sewing fig leaves together to make themselves aprons. Right? So now they was naked and they was cool with it. They like, all right, no sweat. We not ashamed. We doing our thing. But at some point, they knew they was naked. Who told them they was naked? Who told them to sew fig leaves and put this on? You feel what I'm saying? Because they wasn't ashamed when they was in the garden under the Most High. They had no reason to be ashamed. But when they get around the other people, they were ashamed of them. Which is when the Most High came and was like, yo, where y'all at? He started looking for Adam. He couldn't find them because we blended in with the people. Our fringes keep us separate. We different. That's what the Lord gave us. We're going to be a holy people, a special people, a separate people unto him. The fringes help us keep the mentality that we not them. The Native Americans kept those fringes. They kept them laws because we just read in verse 30 in Deuteronomy 34 and 30 that there was lawgivers. You know what I'm saying? They was like the priests in the northern kingdom in Israel. So when they came over here, they kept them customs. You feel what I'm saying? Like they was able to. Now they ain't keep all of them because they was definitely sacrificing. You know what I'm saying? They was definitely doing things that was unholy, but they didn't know that. We wasn't together as a tribe no more. Like they wasn't learning from, you know what I'm saying, from the men that taught Christ. They was making it up at that point. They started sacrificing anything. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why the Lord came to meet him in the form of a slave ship. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody understand? So, let's drop that. Let's get 1 Chronicles 12 and 8. First Chronicles chapter 12, verse 8. Bear with me 1 second. All right. It's the book of First Chronicles chapter 12, verse 8. And of the Gadites, they're separated. So lock it. Bear with me, man. You know. Chapter 12, verse 8. And of the Gadites, there separated themselves unto David into the whole to the wilderness, men of might and men of war, fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were swift as roes upon the mountain. Right? Shield and buckler, that's like, I believe the buckler is the bow and arrow. So lock it in 1 second. So buckler is a shield, right? So the Gadites were men of war, you know what I'm saying? Fit for the battle, fit for might, you know what I'm saying? Fit for war. And they had faces like lions, were swift, you know what I'm saying? And they could handle the shield and the buckler. They could handle them bow and arrows. That's what they was meant to do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to, let's get the bow and arrow. And 1 Chronicles 5 and 18. 1 Chronicles 5 and 18. The Bible breaks down exactly who the Gadites are, exactly who they are today. All right. So first Chronicles chapter 5, verse 18. And the sons of Reuben and the Gadites and half of the tribe of Manasseh of valiant men, men able to bear buckler and sword and shoot with bow and skillful in war, were 440,703 that went out to war. Gad was swift with that bow and arrow, man. Gad was swift with the sword and the shield. They was men that fought like that. You know what I'm saying? The book said when they got to America, they had shields of tortoise shells. You know what I'm saying? They had turtle shields. You know what I'm saying? Like Gad was vicious, man. That's how they get down. You know what I'm saying? And we know who Gad is today based on the Bible. They was bow and arrows. Who do we get bow and arrows from today? Bow and arrow ain't regular. That's something that Native Americans did faithfully. Let's get Judges chapter 20, verse 38. It's going to get you the spirit and show you exactly who Gad is in the Bible. Judges chapter 20, verse 38. All right. And now there were appointed signs between the men of Israel and the liars in the way, that they should make a great flame and with smoke rise up out of the city. And the men of Israel, so they was sending smoke signals. You know what I'm saying? This is where they get the idea of smoke signals from. You know what I'm saying? They got this from the scriptures. And now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel. This was the sign how they spoke to each other. They would send the smoke signals up to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Once again, now there was an appointed sign between the men of Israel's and liars in the way, that they shall make a great flame with smoke rise up out of the city. That's how they communicated to one another. I think they do it today on the Great Wall of China. They send the smoke signals up, and that's the alarm between the different towers. Let's get 1 Samuel 9 and 9. First Samuel chapter 9, verse 9. Before time in Israel, when the man went to inquire of the Most High, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer. Even in Gadite tribes today, they call them seers. You know what I'm saying? People that we would speak to are older men or prophets. You feel what I'm saying? So before it was called the prophet Jacob, the prophet Jeremiah, the prophet Ezekiel, it was called seers, men that you came to speak to for knowledge and information. Let's get the tense in the Bible. Exodus chapter 36, verse 19. Once again, these scriptures is what Gad had when they came to America. You feel what I'm saying? It was the book of their ancestors that they had from many, many years ago. Now, I'm not saying they followed them to the T. None of us did, which is why for so many years, us in Africa, during the same amount of time, when we fled Jerusalem, we was in Africa building our own place. And the northern tribe was in America building their place. You feel what I'm saying? We didn't follow them laws either. We broke them laws too. So did the Native Americans. We all did, which is why we had Christ. Christ was here to teach us how to come back to the law. We still breaking the laws today. Christ is able to give us the spirit to change who we are, to change who we once were. You know what I'm saying? Come back into the fold of the Lord and be who the Lord called you to be. Exodus 36 and 16. You know what I mean? That's what Christ is for. That's what the Passover is for. You feel what I'm saying? 36 and 16. Christ was Christ was the lamb, you feel what I'm saying? That was killed for the Passover. Christ is the sacrificial lamb. That's what Christ came for. Christ came so you can change, so you can get off that blunt. Christ came so you could get about that hell you in, you know what I'm saying, from underneath that woman or in them streets or whatever vexes you. You know what I'm saying? Christ is here so you can change your life. You got something to live for. You don't gotta live for that dollar. You don't gotta live for that blunt or that woman. You feel what I'm saying? We got a reason to be alive. So if somebody died for you, they give you a reason to survive. They give you a reason to want to change. They give you a reason to want to be great because somebody died for you. If your brother or your sister lay their life down for you, would you then become a dope fiend? I mean, some people do. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the pain that kills them. But you can't live with the pain. That's why you become a dope fiend. But when somebody jumps in front of a bullet for you, you feel what I'm saying? You give them your life. Your life is dedicated to them. Well, Christ died for us. We was nobodies. We was in the street somewhere. People that didn't give a damn about this law, didn't give a damn about this book. But Christ was like, you know what? I'm going to give my life so he has a chance to survive. We were supposed to die in them streets. We were supposed to die where we was at. That night when you know what I'm saying, you had a similar night when you were supposed to die that night. But Christ died for you then. It wasn't your time. Now you here in the truth. The Lord spared you. You feel what I'm saying? Because somebody that never sinned ever died as a sinner for you. So now that sinner in you can die. That person that you were can die. You feel what I'm saying? Christ came for us to live, man. But we knew exactly who Christ was, and we chose to just say, man, damn Christ, damn that Bible, damn being Israelites. And today we say, damn the Native Americans. And we go celebrate a holiday that's meant to disgrace them. We celebrate a holiday that's meant to, you know what I'm saying, to make joy over their oppression. And it's sad, man. It's sad. So we're going to talk about I think, you know what I'm saying, we probably going to wrap it up in a few. But this is also identification of who Gad is, you know what I'm saying, or the spirit that Gad kept as Native Americans was in fact biblical. Like we just said, like, you know what I mean, they were skilled with the bow and arrow and the shields and the bucklers and the swords. They communicated with smoke signals. They was as lions, they moved around and they moved with the food, scalping and tearing the crown. You know what I'm saying? It was lawgivers, which is why they kept the spirit with the fringes. And they had so many, they felt like they could speak to the gods, and the word hurricane comes from Native Americans, which is the god of the wind, I believe. You feel what I'm saying? They believe they spoke to God, and they was able to calculate the stars. The Mayan calendar was the most accurate calendar ever. You feel what I'm saying? They calculated the stars. They had civilizations with no help. You feel what I'm saying? Chicago was 5 times the size of Chicago, where it is today. All of these places were once Native American places, and Esau came there and slaughtered them and took the land. You know what I mean? So these are traits of who Gad is today. We're gonna go back to one of the last ones is Exodus chapter 36, verse 19. Exodus 36 and 19. And he made 50 latches of, hold on. Exodus 36 and 19. And he made 50 loops upon the uttermost edges of the curtains and coupled them, and 50 loops upon the edge of the curtains and coupled them with the second. Hold on, let me make sure this is the right one. Let's go to verse 19. I was just reading 17. Let's go to verse 19. And he made a covering for a tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering of badger skins above that. And he made boards for the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. You know what I'm saying? That spirit of building tents is an Israelite custom. We built tents. Today they call them teepees. You feel what I'm saying? But they took the skin of the buffalo. They took the skin of the goats and the rams and of the things that they slaughtered and built the tents. You feel what I'm saying? Them teepees was something that was a Native American custom. The tents was just Israel. We got a feast of tabernacles, a feast of booths. You feel what I'm saying? That was a Native American thing. I mean, as an Israelite custom to build tents. So the Gadites or Native Americans was the people of the Bible. Their characteristics match the people of the Bible. Who they are, you know what I'm saying? We could go further into it, but they knew they was Israelites. They knew the fact that they was the people that came from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, so real quick, I'm going to this book, Lost Tribes of the Promised Lands, page 364. One second. All right, this is September 1644 in Amsterdam, which is now called New York. Montezinos arrived in what was called Amsterdam, right? After he lived in South America for so many years. In Quito. So when he gets to America, right? Salakia. He has sorry, where am I starting? All right, let's start here. Start in the middle of the story. When he suddenly stopped, those Indians, he told himself, they are Hebrews. This is page 364. Those Indians, he told himself, they are Hebrews! Exclamation point. Pondering his thought incredulously, and yet with growing conviction, he resolved that if he ever was released, he would seek out the Indian Francisco and try to learn the truth, right? So this man that was traveling with him, he was like, those ain't Indians, those are Hebrews. Those are Israelites, right? So now he had a Native American guide with him, or Israelite, an Indian guide with him, right? So, hold on. There ain't so much in this book. Montezinos makes a point of telling us that they had come to a river larger than the Douro. Are these echoes of the Sabation, or the Sambatyon, Sambatyon, in all of this? Here, Francisco announced, is where your brothers will be seen. Waving a banner high in the air, the Indian guide soon was greeted by a puff of smoke far beyond the other bank of the river, which we just read about, which is how to communicate, right? So they had a puff of smoke far beyond the bank of the river. In response to his signal, this is how they signaled each other, right? Two men waited. Eventually, a canoe appeared, bearing three men and a woman, all of them Indians, to a place where Francisco and Montezinos were standing at the edge of the water. So they sent the smoke signal up to tell them where to come to. And they got there and they was waiting on the bank of the river, and they see these Indians pull up in the boat, right? The woman got off and spoke to Francisco in the Indian tongue that Montezinos could not understand, although he could perceive that he was being identified in the conversation. She then turned to her male companions to explain the situation. So now the Indian guide was talking to the other Indian, but Montezinos couldn't understand it, right? So she turned to her male companions who were still in the boat. Upon hearing her words rose, they went over to Montezinos, right? So now they knew that he spoke Hebrew, right? So they went over to Montezinos, and to his utter astonishment said, Shemai Yazrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Ahad, right? Which is how we would say in Hebrew, Shema Yahweh Elohayim wa Yahweh Akkad, which is hear, O Israel, our God. It's like hear, O Israel, the Lord of our God, the Lord is one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. They recited in Hebrew the fundamental credo of Judaism, right? It's more in this book, but when Esau got to America, they found what they was looking for. They found the Israelites. How did they know that they was looking for them? How did we know they was looking for them? Christopher Columbus spoke about it in his memoirs that he was going to follow the trail that was in Esdras. The book of Esdras called the land Arsareth, right? They left through the river from Assyrian captivity and traveled over the river or the water. It took a year and a half to cross. When they got there, the land was called Arsareth, or the land, right? Christopher Columbus followed these records and he found the Native Americans, which is why they knew to bring Hebrew translators. The men that they saw when they got to America were far beyond advanced. They had everything down to breath mints. They had jade paved streets. You feel what I'm saying? They had kings with gold ropes on. They had necklaces. You feel what I'm saying? It was far beyond advanced. They knew the time. They knew the calendar. They knew what day it was. They had gold, and beyond their beliefs, they had so much riches beyond their beliefs. But the people that they saw when they got here, they thought they was soft. They thought they was weak. But what they saw was people who were who had compassion. You know what I'm saying? If you hungry, I'm gonna feed you. You feel what I'm saying? If you want the gold, take it. It's yours, you can have it. It's nothing but a rock to me. It's a rock to me. It's nothing to me. But to Esau, when he got here, it was more than they can feast their eyes on. And they tried to take it back to Spain. They drowned mad boats trying to get it back to Spain. You feel what I'm saying? The oppressor got here and saw riches, saw people that they could take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? They saw ways to capitalize on it, and they didn't see people. You feel what I'm saying? They enslaved the men there. They enslaved the women and children and killed the men that was there. You know what I'm saying? Today, they celebrate those wars with a day called Thanksgiving, which is a holiday or a day that America sets aside. The earth stops or America stops, and you sit down and eat turkey and cranberry sauce, which represents the death of the Native Americans in America. There's so many wars that America had with the Native Americans were all covenants and treaties that they broke. The Trail of Tears was them moving them from Mississippi, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, and Virginia up into Dakota and Oklahoma. You feel what I'm saying? Andrew Jackson was the one who said he went to Congress and Congress said, do it. You feel what I'm saying? They didn't see no reason to not do it. And today we celebrate it because America is great. And America is great because we suffer. We die. We're being murdered, and everything that we had was taken from us, and America can flourish in our calamity. They can flourish in our time of disgrace. When all we had to do was follow the Most High. All we had to do was follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? The laws, statutes, and commandments that the Lord gave us. But because we didn't, we become food for the beast. We become slaves to the beast. We become men with no kingdom. We become men with no honor, men with no valor, men with no backbone, and people that they can just take advantage of. You feel what I'm saying? Let me make sure there ain't no questions online. The brother gonna bring out on Monday, make sure y'all tune into class. Priest and officer of 5,000 times a dot gonna bring out the history of Thanksgiving. You feel what I'm saying? Didn't want to run the same class twice, which I know that brother gonna bring out something absolutely heavy. Make sure y'all tune in on Monday to watch Ties of Dots class on the history of Thanksgiving. Is there anything else? Let's see what they got online. No questions on Facebook. All right. No questions on YouTube. So with that, man, we're gonna end the class. Once again, make sure y'all make it to class, man. Watching online is not the same. Come into the building, come to class. Feel what I'm saying? We'll get some pizza, some, you know what I'm saying, learn these scriptures the same way the men taught me. You know what I'm saying? Sit amongst the men and just learn the Bible. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we had to do. We had to learn the scriptures and become strong as a people, stronger men. You know what I mean? Like the only way to really get yourself out of hell is to get the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Get the knowledge of what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? That way you can defeat Satan. You know what I mean? So any of these days, make sure y'all get to class. 1 second. Hey, Shalom, little Curry. No. One second. Give me 1 second. All right, with that being said, we're going to end the class. Sure.